What happened to the Crucible after Doom 2016? What is the secret prophecy about the Crucible? And how is the Seraphim linked to Samuel Hayden? That's what I want to cover in this video. So this video is very long because I don't want to skip over important events of the past. There's also a bunch of smaller topics I want to bring up that we can discuss. Now, one of the most important pieces of lore and mystery of the Doom universe is something we collected back in Doom 2016. Something so dark, evil, and with a hidden past that could be linked to something worse than the Makers or the Icon of Sin. The Crucible appeared to us in the beginning of Doom 2016. As you reach out for your armor, a flashback occurs. Within the blurry and flashing images, we can see a couple of things: a spire with argent energy, a possible temple, the elemental wraiths, the well, and the Crucible. You are later introduced to Samuel Hayden, the head of the facility. His team was using Hell's resources as an unlimited power source. A Hellwave was activated from the Lazarus facility, which transformed 64% of the personnel there, and one of his employees had turned against him. You would learn about what's been happening on the facility regarding Argent Energy. When things got out of control, he released the Doomslayer from his prison. It's like Samuel already knew what the Doomslayer could do if he was set free. Olivia Pierce worked in the Advanced Research Complex. She became obsessed with the Helix Stone during her research, an artifact that was pulled from Hell in the early days of the program. She kept it in the Lazarus labs and would barely report back to Samuel. From it, they learned how to manipulate Hell's energy. They were able to harness the power of the well. It might also have details on how to shut it down. One codex entry does give the assumption that the Crucible was of great importance to the demons. The presence of such high-ranking demons in the necropolis suggests that the area holds some item of extreme importance or vulnerability to the demons. Current research suggests this may be the lost artifact known as the Crucible. The Helix Stone also led them to finding the sarcophagus that contained the Doomslayer. Upon reaching the Lazarus labs, you would locate the Helix Stone. As you reach out and touch it, more images from a long time ago are shown to you. We see the skeleton of a Titan, the Icon of Sin, and the location of the Crucible. It's located in the necropolis. Before you venture off to find it, Samuel Hayden says to the Slayer, "Retrieving the Crucible is critical. Without it, we have no way of shutting down the well and closing the Hell portal here on Mars." It's as if he already knew exactly what the Crucible can do. Once you reach that area, the Doomslayer battles 3 Hell Guards. After emerging victorious, he claims the Crucible, but to the Slayer, he does not utilize its full potential. This is the item Olivia Pierce was looking for. The Slayer would later locate 3 elemental wraiths and release their souls. This was done by using the blades under the handle of the Crucible. Once this task was done, he would venture on to battle the Spider Mastermind. He is then tethered back to Samuel's location, but instead of gratitude, Samuel takes the Crucible from the Slayer. He says to him, "I am not the villain in this story. I do what I do because there is no choice." Samuel would activate the Argent energy on the Crucible, which forms a large red blade. He would then tether the Slayer to another location so he does not get in his way. Samuel walks off with the Crucible in his hand, and the story ends. If we look back at Samuel Hayden's office, he had a tablet that showed the Crucible's full form. This might have included instructions on how to activate the Argent blade of the Crucible. So what happened to the Crucible after this? Well, Samuel would return to Earth, and before the Allied Nations Council would show them the Crucible, which could be the salvation mankind was looking for. Hayden agreed to work with them, providing he got access to the UAC facilities on Earth. His main focus was trying to create a method of Argent synthesis, a synthetic replication that could recreate Argent energy. The Crucible would act as an Argent conductor. This would produce the miracle of synthetic, man-made Argent energy, which saved the energy crisis on Earth. Samuel would work with the Allied nations to form the ARC, which is the Armored Response Coalition. It was designed to be a last line of defense against any threat to Earth, but they were not prepared for what was coming. The forces of hell came to Earth without warning. Given passage by the UAC Cultist Division, they descended upon the planet with fire and brimstone. The global defense response was immediate, as the conflict escalated into total war overnight. The military forces on Earth waged a battle against the invading forces, united against their common enemy in what would prove to be a bloody, relentless fight for survival. Chaos enveloped the planet as human civilization unraveled, with the death toll reaching into the billions within the first month. Earth's Response Coalition deployed advanced mechanized armored exo-infantry and battle mechs, but nothing could defeat the onslaught of the Undead Legion. Samuel would lead the Ark military to fight against the demon invasion. Armed with the Crucible, he led the army into combat. As they fought with every survival instinct for the sake of mankind, it was not enough. Earth was overrun with demons. Our armies were defeated, our resources were drained, and all that was left were the bodies of soldiers, broken exosuits, and mechs that failed us. So what happened to the Crucible this time? After his defeat, Ark soldiers would retrieve his body along with the Crucible. Both would be stored within an Ark facility. The Doomslayer would find Samuel's broken body and the Crucible. Before going back to the Slayer Fortress, he deals with the Marauder who comes through a portal. Marauders were sentinels that sided with the Khan Maker during the Civil War. They were gifted with Maker magic to be resurrected as Marauder Knights in Hell's army. Despite the Slayer being a human and fighting alongside the Sentinels a long time ago, these Marauders did not accept the Slayer in the past, saying, "You were never one of us. You are nothing but a false idol, a usurper." When the Slayer returns to his fortress, Samuel transfers himself into the mainframe. The final priest is located, and the Slayer sets out to eliminate him. Upon returning, the Khan Maker overloads the systems on the fortress. Because some parts of the fortress are of Maker design, she is able to take control of those sections. Assuming there was no more power, the Slayer should not be able to interfere. She plans to resurrect the Icon of Sin under her control, which is covered in Maker armor. But the Khan Maker was unaware that you had the demonic Crucible. Its Argent energy is used as a power source for the fortress. Meanwhile, Samuel is still in the ship's mainframe, guiding you on your mission. Samuel will then send the Slayer to Taras Nabad to retrieve the Crucible weapon he used a long time ago when he fought a Titan. But the strange thing here is, for some reason, Samuel seems to know a lot of history about the Slayer. He locates his sword, still embedded into the chest of the Titan. By removing the handle, he leaves the blade intact, so the Titan will not rise. Back in the vault, he retrieves an energy medallion. It's attached to the handle. He would then forge a new blade for his Crucible. The Crucible is then used to defeat the Icon of Sin in the end. The blade is pressed into its brain, and the creature falls. Now that we've covered the demonic Crucible and its whereabouts, there's a secret prophecy in Doom 2016 that has barely gotten any coverage. Located in the Kadingir Sanctum near the Slayer Testament rune, you will find a hell tree, and if you stay close to it, it will repeat 4 verses from a prophecy. It says this:
Yet even as the Doomslayer
first prophecy mentions an infidel or heretic, so that can mean someone who does not believe in religion, and a heretic would be a person with beliefs or the practice of religious heresy or something that goes against what others believe. The Codex entry about Urdak does mention religion and how the city's name could translate to heaven or paradise. The seraphim, who is also a maker on Urdak, did betray the Khan maker, first by bestowing great powers upon the slayer from within the divinity machine, and then by stealing the essence of the Father. These acts were seen as heresy. The seraphim then disappeared after these events. The second prophecy is just saying how Olivia will turn into the spider mastermind in Doom 2016, so we can skip that one. But the third prophecy talks about a new enemy, a dark priest consumed by the crucible, and even the slayer might not be strong enough to stop it. So where is the crucible now? It's powering the fortress of Doom, and Samuel Hayden is connected to it. Now, is it possible that Samuel Hayden could still get corrupted by the crucible in this way? The last prophecy says how the crucible will punish both man and demons. It will sever the balance between them by destroying everything. It will corrupt all realms, so nobody is safe from it. It only seems to mention man and demons, but not makers. Whoever spoke of this did not want anyone to find the crucible, so it has a hidden secret other than just being a demonic sword. If there is another Doom game, would the villain be a corrupted Samuel Hayden? The clues are pointing towards Samuel or the Seraphim. The demonic crucible was brought up in a few other sources. The Art of Doom in 2016 has some information on it. It says this: the existence of this ancient artifact is mentioned in inscriptions, in various texts, and depicted in tablets as an object of some great power. The purpose of the artifact is unknown, although it is believed that the object may serve as a ceremonial blade of some kind. Unconfirmed speculation states that the crucible relates to an ancient and prophesied ritual, an event that may coincide with the transference of power to the one who wields the blade. Some maps in Doom 2016 show us a statue that is holding something of interest. The maps are the Offering and Argent Breach. The weapon the statue is holding looks like the crucible. To further back up this claim, some concept art for 3 statues are provided by the artist Jason Martin. He mentions that the red statue is holding the crucible. If we look at these designs, they would resemble the Maker Angels in Doom Eternal. The Codex entry about them has more information. They were angels who held high status of leadership and esteem. These angels were given Orator rings, golden halos fused to their armor, as a symbol of their status and rank. They served as overseers or advisors of Maker-controlled worlds. But the other 2 statues do not show any visible halos like the one in the center, so perhaps they were of lesser ranks, or a different design. It does bring up the question, why is an angel holding the demonic crucible, if in fact this person is an angel? These figures are also brought up in more concept art for Doom Eternal, the torture chamber on the left and the Hellspire on the right. These figures can be seen on the Fortress of Doom, and once again, one image is seen holding the crucible. The prophecy of the crucible is not clearly explained to us, but if it is of demonic origin, its true purpose has been kept a secret through the ages. I also noticed these 3 figures share a color scheme similar to the demon keys for the Unmaker in Doom 64. It could be a coincidence, or perhaps they are linked to the Unmaker or the Crucible in some way. I also want to look a bit deeper into the Seraphim character. There's been some theories that Samur Maker could be Samuel Hayden, or someone who contacted Samuel about the Khan Maker's plans with Hell. Both characters are linked to one voice actor in the credits. Sure, that's a small thing, but there are more similarities. Back in Doom 2016, when you meet up with Samuel, he gives you Argent Energy, and he says this: "It's a gift. Take it. It will give you strength, help you on your journey." In Doom Eternal, the Seraphim says this: "I offer you a gift. Take it. It will give you strength, help you on your journey." You can see both of them deliver the same message. And there's more clues to this theory. When you retrieve Samuel Hayden's body and bring it back to your fortress. His body has components of Maker technology. Even an ARC scientist said Samuel's technology was very alien. Samuel's body is made up of technology similar to the Slayer's fortress. This is how the Khan Maker was able to take control and overload the systems. It's possible that one angel amongst them did not agree with the Khan Maker's decision to form a deal with Hell. The Seraphim does not show a visible halo, so he must have been within the lower ranks, or it was removed at some point. It was his sole decision to form a resistance against the Khans, and that meant to bless a warrior that could stand up to both demons and angels. Aside from Samuel having a lot of knowledge of the Makers, Sentinels, and demons, there is one more connection I want to bring up. While on Urdak, Samuel explains how the Khan Maker struck a deal with the Dark Lord. In exchange for more worlds for Hell to devour, the Makers siphoned energy from the damned. Samuel then says it is an unholy union and cannot stand any longer. While it's not clearly stated, it's a theory that the Seraphim also did not agree with this. He wanted to stop it. This led him to bless the Slayer with incredible speed and strength. So now let's look at something else. Why does a Maker facility voice call the Slayer Seraphim? Well, I don't think he is exactly the Seraphim from the past. Perhaps the procedure he underwent inside the divinity machine has done more than we know. There is more evidence to support this. Dr. Eleanor Richardson took blood samples from the Slayer back on Mars. Her results indicate there are foreign bodies of unknown origin within him, so maybe those foreign bodies got picked up by the Maker facility, and it just read those signatures that belong to the actual Seraphim. During a mission in search of the Soul Spire, Samuel says that no demon has ever set foot on Urdak, and no angel ever walked in Hell. Urdak's dimension is only accessible to angels, so how are demons there later on? Well, Samuel says that when the Khan Maker awoke the icon of sin on Urdak, this broke the seal between their dimension and others. Now, the demons were invading Urdak. Paradise has now been shattered. The last thing I want to look at is when Vega connects to Maker technology to activate a portal back to Earth. He says one specific line that stands out. System acquired, setting a course for the Earth dimension now. I can see now. Am I the father, Dr. Hayden? So what does this mean? If we look at the Codex entries, it says that the Father was a logical alien entity that endowed the Makers with vast knowledge and technical ability. The Father may have been a singular being that split to form the Maker race, or transferred his incalculable power into the vast structure known as Urdak, which gives birth to Khan Makers. Every 10,000 years, the collective Maker consciousness, known as the Singularity, births a Khan Maker, a supreme being bound by destiny to lead all of Urdak until the next Khan is born. It's a natural process for Khans to expire over time. But here's the thing. In order to give birth to another Khan, the father has to be within Urdak. So where is father? Well, according to the Codex, it was stolen by one of their own, Samar Maker, also known as the Seraphim. It seems this person was trying to do anything to stop the Khan Maker. This is why the Khan Maker needs Argent energy to stay alive, because they cannot create another Khan after her without the father. And as for Vega, when he says that line, "Am I the father?" it could be that father's essence was placed within Vega a long time ago, because it can be transferred into technology. It's possible the Seraphim hid on Earth waiting for the right time. There's a lot of connections between Samuel and the Seraphim, but one theory is that they are the same person based on these things. Their knowledge, voice, alien technology similar to the Makers, what they say to the Slayer, and motive. So that covers a lot of lore topics within Doom Eternal, but my favorite topic has got to be about the Crucible Prophecy. But if you have any theories or feedback about the story, then feel free to share it within the comments section. If you want to see more lore videos about the Doom universe, then subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications. You can also find me on Twitter and Instagram. Thanks for watching and supporting my channel. My name is Carlos or Acid Glow, and I'll see you in the next video.